Imran, thank you so much for joining us. I just want to begin by asking you how you're feeling about this moment. You haven't seen your father for some time. I'm assuming you haven't spoken to him for some time. Just what's been weighing on your mind at this quite difficult time for you and your family?
I mean, it's quite easy to feel quite helpless recently, and we can't do that much. A lot of the efforts we've made have been in vain, or they've, in fact, kind of made things worse on that end. So when it comes to Pakistan, it's easy to just kind of feel helpless and quite far away from everything. But at the same time, right now, because things are so bad, we're somewhat desperate. So we'll do whatever. That's why kind of, we're here.
When you say it's gotten worse, what do you mean? Every time you speak up about it, what happens?
So when we spoke up last time, I remember there was a period where, in fact, after my Malcolm interview, the first one we did, there was a long stretch where we didn't speak to him. I think it was about 3 months. The next time we spoke to him was just after a different interview, and then it then went 4 months since we spoke to him again. And I think they basically wanted to say, look, we're allowing him conversation, but straight after, with us, there's the court orders, but they never really adhered to. Straight after that, then they go back on the blackout, and now it's the worst blackout it's ever been for him, and he's completely isolated. We heard today they don't allow the guards to communicate with him. It's all kind of psychological torture tactics, and it's got so bad where I think he had something like, it was like 20 minutes outside, outdoors a day, or something like that, and as well as that, no contact with family, no contact with personal physicians or anything like that. So they use all of these different tactics to try and completely isolate him. No books, that's a brutal one for him. So yeah, all of these different tactics they use just to try and break him, but he's very tough to break.
Yeah, and especially since on Friday, a spokesperson from the army held a press conference essentially announcing that he's now officially in full isolation. But since the last visit that he got from his family, which was the first one he'd had for a whole month, he wasn't allowed to any visits for the whole of November. And according to international law, over 15 days of solitary confinement is considered psychological torture. And yeah, since that press conference, he's essentially been officially put in isolation, and not just that, he was labelled mentally ill, delusional, and a national security threat. So that's all pretty stressful for us, and kind of made us want to contribute more.
This defense minister, by the way, was lying to his teeth through the interview. I'll open his head because he was saying we had regular contact with our father. He was like, come, they can come and visit. They'd said earlier that we get arrested if we go over there. So it's just flipped over contradictions. They, in the interview, contradict themselves, saying that India controlling his Twitter, and then he says, but he has Twitter access from his cell. So he just, if you have any common sense, you can see the man just lying to his teeth. They're the scum of the earth, these people. They're the lowest of the low. So another thing that frustrates me while I'm on it is the comparisons people draw between our father and other politicians who have also been to jail. They say, these Pakistani politicians, they're in and out of jail. They're in jail for about 3 months at max. Then they take a deal, they have no integrity, they take a deal, they go to England, a few years later,